This is Time Capsule.
So I'm 35 years old.
We're going to follow patients under the care of Wittmer Rejuvenation Clinic from the very beginning.
I've been taking it this is the end of my second week. So I'm 4 doses in.
Their struggles.
At the end of the day, I was beat. I didn't have the energy that I wanted to be able to give back to my wife and kids.
Their prescriptions.
Testosterone replacement.
All the way until they reach their goals.
I wanted to be able to target fat loss more efficiently, better energy and recovery times, just have more mental clarity and live my life to the highest level that I possibly can.
This is Time Capsule. Thank you so much for stopping by today to watch a very unique series where we're going to follow Brandon's journey under the care of Wittmer Rejuvenation Clinic. Now, Brandon just signed up, and this is his Time Capsule. Brandon, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. You are literally the living, breathing, working man. You're actually, well, you know this, but those that are watching, he's actually on location because he's working and he couldn't make it back to an office or a closed space. So he's doing the interview from the job. So first off, Brandon, thank you so much again for being here. Let us know how old you are and where you're from so that way we can get a better idea of who you are.
Yeah, so I'm 35 years old. And I live in Greeley, Colorado.
Okay. And like I said, you're on the road. So what do you do for a living?
I'm an ERP administrator. So basically that's like a cloud-based database administrator that manages enterprise resources. I work for a water conservancy district here in Northern Colorado. And basically what that means is all of the runoff of water that happens in the mountains here, that flows downstream, whether that is west towards California and Colorado River or east, towards Kansas and Nebraska. And so we have local state and federal contracts that require legislations that require a certain amount of water to be passed to those other states. And so we manage the water consumption of people that have water rights here in the state of Colorado, and then ensuring that we are allowing enough water to continue on to other states.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. Seems like you have a huge responsibility on your hands. I have no clue how any of that stuff works. I don't even know if this is in the same realm, but I turn the faucet and water comes out. That's all I know. So, I'm sure thousands of lives are depending on you to make sure that can, still happen. So in regards to family life, are you married? Do you have kids?
Yeah, so I'm married. I've been married for just over 5 years. We have 2 kids right now and 1 on the way. So we're going to end up with 3 kids under the age of 4, which is going to be a little chaotic. But hey, I think 10 years from now, we'll look back and be like, man, it was good to get all of them out of the way. And, not trying to have kids when I'm 45.
All right, so you're a little bit ahead of schedule. So I just turned 40. My wife is about the same age, and our son just turned 4. And so we are, in comparison to kids his age, we are a little bit older. So we're trying to play catch up at this point. But outside of family and work, what else do you like to do? Do you have any hobbies?
I recently got back into going to the gym about a year ago. Dropped like 30 pounds in that year. So that's been rejuvenating my life and activity level. I also enjoy sports and music. So try and stay active, play basketball and golf when I can. I also play the trumpet. So I'm participating in like local concert bands and whatnot around there.
Thank you so much for sharing that. So the whole reason for me asking these specific questions is just to kind of really laid out there that you are just like me. You're just like the person that's watching or listening to this conversation. A lot of times, especially in today's day and age, we get lost in like the Instagram feed or whatever social media platform that you're scrolling through, and that stuff sometimes it seems so disconnected, right? Like, especially if just the whole living situation is just completely different. It's really hard for anyone like me to relate to that. However, with that said, I can relate a lot to you. You're working man, father, husband, all that stuff, just like me. And so I get inspired by that sort of thing. Sorry, there's a fly bugging around me right now. But with all that said, you do have a family, you have people that depend on you. Normally, people like to go towards the thing that's tried and true, the thing that's trusted, and that's the doctor in town. You decided to go around that and go through telemedicine as opposed to traditional medicine. What was the thought process, or why did you decide to go ahead and do telemedicine as opposed to like your general doctor visit?
Yeah, so I was referred to Wittmer Rejuvenation Clinic by a chiropractor that I'm working with, and he actually is also a patient of theirs. Um, and so he kind of said, "Hey, these are the goals that you're wanting to accomplish. Like, why not look into some of the services that they offer, specifically looking into like what my testosterone levels were, um, and how can they get me to where I want to be." It's interesting because I actually uh, discussed this with my primary care provider, and I don't know if it's due to like insurance limitations or just they're when you're in the primary care type environment, they're trying to get you to whatever like the baseline average of patients is. And that may not actually end up aligning with, what is the optimal levels for you as an individual. For example, like, so insurance wants to get you up to like 300 or 400 of testosterone levels when, you know, yeah, that may not be what's optimal for the lifestyle that you're trying to live and the goals that you want to accomplish with your life.
Yeah, it's such a huge bummer because that reference range is so huge, and somebody who's not really I don't want to say not experienced, because obviously if somebody's practicing, they have experience seeing people. So I don't want to really put anyone's practice down, but they're not experts in it, especially nowhere near at the level of Wittmer Rejuvenation Clinic. So, with that in mind, though, was there one specific thing or symptom that prompted you to contact Wittmer Rejuvenation Clinic?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've been going to the gym again here for about a year. Um, Losing 30 pounds in a year, I think that's pretty substantial. But at the same time, um, I wanted to be able to target fat loss more efficiently. I wanted to have better energy and recovery times from working out in the gym. I also wanted to, just have more mental clarity and live my life to the highest level that I possibly can. And, um, you know, if this was going to help me do that, as long as the positives outweighed the negatives, then I was going to definitely go this direction. And I think, our society, there's like a lot of ways that people can get testosterone. Like you can order it off the internet. And, that's, I don't think, I think that's a slippery slope because you're not being actively managed by a medical professional. And so I thought after weighing those options, I realized that, working with the telemedicine clinic made it so that, hey, they're regularly going to be checking my labs to make sure that I'm in a healthy state while I'm going through this therapy. And yeah, that's kind of why I landed going with Wittmer.
You're super smart, and you're absolutely correct. You can, without promoting it too much, you can get anything of any dosages pretty much anywhere, but you have no clue what is actually in that. And on top of that, you have no clue if that's actually, the best dosage for you, right? You're just playing, the guessing game. And unfortunately, the guessing game can land you in a really, really bad spot. So getting the lab work done and having a professional go over that lab work with you, and somebody that's going to tailor your prescriptions, your dosages specifically for you, is something that the guy behind the gym is not going to be able to do. The guy that's selling the black market stuff, there's just no way that that's going to work out that way. And before I go any further, 30 pounds, I mean, dude, that is incredible. Can you talk to me a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So when I started going to the gym, I was roughly 295, 300 pounds. And, having kids, man, it will just spark a fire under you. And you realize, man, these little vessels of human are so amazing and such a blessing. Like, I want to live my life as long as I possibly can and be healthy so that I can contribute, have these moments that are incredible for a lifetime. And just that really sparked the fire to get back healthy. So I started working with a personal trainer and whatnot. And through that process, I lost the weight. Um, but I knew that I could accomplish more.
Got it. Yeah, I just wanted to point that out, and just, kudos to you for being able to not only maintain but lose weight. There's a lot of people that are struggling just to maintain the weight, right? So what you're doing is working. You're making all the right moves, and then now connecting with Wittmer Rejuvenation Clinic, like things are really going to start moving. But you're absolutely right. Like for me, my motivation, I've always been, motivated to do more, to strive to, I've always set goals and that sort of thing. I thought I was working hard until my son was born, and it's like I had a whole extra gear, right? Like it was really, really, really cool. And it's unfortunate that you don't get to experience that. Somebody could tell you this, till they're blue in the face, and you're like, okay, yeah, cool, cool, cool. But until you experience it, like that's when things get really, really interesting, and you really get to feel it. Um, what I wanted to ask though is, was there one specific moment, like one last straw moment, to where you're like, okay, like enough's enough. I need to contact WRC because I need to get this addressed.
Um, yeah, I mean, I felt like my plateaus were lasting longer than I wanted to. I felt like, I was putting so much energy into the gym that, at the end of the day, I was beat. I didn't have the energy that I wanted to be able to give back to my wife and kids. Um, and that was, I think, you know, yeah, putting on lean muscle mass, losing fat and all that, that's great. But there are other benefits of this that I was interested in. And energy was a huge one. I wanted to be able to not just be wiped by the time 6 o'clock came and I had already worked out, gone to work. I wanted to be able to give back to the family, be engaged, be a better dad, be a better husband.
Yeah, man, that's so important. So kind of going back again to the social media side of things, and how everything, especially like gym related stuff, gets super highlighted when people are, hitting PRs, and, talking about spending all day in the gym, and everybody's giving them, virtual high fives. um, that's great. Good for everybody that is doing that. But what I always kind of really think about is, like, what does my family truly care about, right? Like, what is the thing that they want most out of me? Yes, of course, they're going to be happy that I hit a PR in the gym, or I had a great day at jujitsu, whatever it may be. But if dad is on the couch falling asleep instead of being there for the family, like, come on, man. Like, what's the point of all of it if you can't actually be there for your family? And so, with all that in mind, without giving me like specifics on dosages and that sort of thing, what have you been prescribed from Wittmer Rejuvenation Clinic?
Yeah, so I've been subscribed testosterone replacement. So yeah, do a couple injections a week, and for I've been taking it for this is the end of my second week, so I'm 4 doses in. Um, I already can tell a little bit of a difference in energy and sleep quality. But yeah, I'm really excited for what the future is going to bring and what does that mean for my life.
Yeah, I'm really excited for you to start noticing the benefits of the prescription. Like once the body and the prescription start to kind of work together and really start to you'll start really noticing the benefits, but it's really exciting when other people start noticing the benefits, whether that be mood, energy, attitude, output, or, again, the physical appearance of you. I think that's when it gets really, really, really fun because, we're our most difficult judges when it comes to what we see in the mirror or how we feel or our, like we create like the most impossible success metrics. But when somebody else recognizes that, that feels really, really good. Now, are there any specific health goals that you're hoping to achieve now that things are starting to get optimized?
I mean, my long term goal is to be back down at like 220 and 20% body fat. Um, so I would say that's probably my biggest motivator as far as just my personal health goes.
Right on, man. You are so well on your way. You're already dropping weight. You're building muscle. You took the right steps in getting your labs done and getting everything, getting the consultations from a professional. Like you're more than well on your way. You are in the middle of it right now. So I'm really excited to see what the progress is like in a few months. What was it like getting started with Wittmer Rejuvenation Clinic?
Yeah, it's been a pretty seamless process. Had initial labs drawn by my chiropractor, and that after I reviewed those with him, that's kind of what prompted. Okay, so now we think you should go ahead and reach out to Wittmer. They drew additional lab work, and after that was done, I jumped on a phone call with I don't remember his name right now. The lead doctor from Wittmer. He was a great guy, had a great conversation. He answered a bunch of questions, went through every single detail of my lab work with me. And then from that point, he referred me to a doctor that was prescribing in my state. And so I jumped on a 15-minute phone call with him. He also um, cleared up a couple of questions that I had. Going into this, you always see the risks that are associated with it, and the what he referred to as Doctor Google is always going to kill you, right? And so, um, yeah, he cleared up some things about how we're going to be monitoring your labs very regularly. So we're gonna if we need to change course because we're seeing something in your lab that would put you into one of those categories where you're at higher risk, then we're going to pivot way before that's ever an issue. And so that was definitely reassuring. He also uh, brought to light that a lot of the studies out there on this are a 20 to 30 years old. And most of the studies that Google will bring up are solely based here in the United States. So as time has gone on, we're able to see more studies that have happened around the world, and show that the benefits just insanely outweigh the negatives that can come with this type of treatment. Um, and so, yeah, that was really reassuring. And I was, I left that meeting with him just feeling great about it. And then from that point, they went ahead and ordered my prescription, shipped everything out to me. And I think within a week and a half of that shorter meeting with the doctor, that I started treatment.
Yes, Dr. Michael Wittmer. He is the absolute best. I've had the opportunity to, interview him. I've had the opportunity to hang out with him, and he's the goat, man. He's the best. And what's really really cool is, especially in the very beginning, your phone rings and it's not a number you have saved or, whatnot. And you pick up the phone and there he is, Dr. Mike, like, oh my gosh, like what's going on, doc? And it's just like I said, man, he's the best. He's the absolute best, super duper knowledgeable. Um, I mean, everyone that I've come in contact with at Wittmer Rejuvenation Clinic is incredible, right? There's no such no there's not one bad seed in the bunch. Let's put it that way. Now I kind of already know this answer, but what has the comparison been like in working with Wittmer Rejuvenation Clinic? A telemedicine model versus your traditional medicine.
Like you said, the ability to just reach out whenever, whether through text or just call them and get your questions answered, that is awesome. If I could do that with my primary care, that would be amazing. But that is definitely a competitive advantage and a um, just a way better customer service platform that I really appreciate about Whitman.
Yeah, at this point, it's not even fair. Traditional medicine is they're just so far behind. WRC is leaps and bounds, way ahead, and I mean, and even way ahead of other telemedicine, models. There, it's again, man, you made a really great choice, and obviously, I'm extremely biased, but it's because I've seen what others do, and I've also obviously seen what traditional medicine does, and so we're in really good hands here. HRT, TRT, um, even telemedicine, maybe in 2025 is still a bit taboo. What was the response like from your family, your friends, or anybody with all of this when you decided to take the leap and start getting start receiving care under Wittmer Rejuvenation Clinic?
Yeah, I mean, she was very supportive. I went through the benefits and the risks that were associated with it. Luckily, we have some close friends that are doing testosterone replacement therapy. Our personal trainer that we worked with for the past year, he uses this. Uh, and like I mentioned before, the chiropractor that I'm working with is also using this as something that helps him out. So um, yeah, I mean, like I said, Dr. Google always puts the fear of God in you, but um, after discussing it with Whitmer and with the people uh, that we know that have been using this, she was all on board. My parents were a little iffy, um, but they're a little bit more old school. So um, I reassured them that this is a licensed physician that's prescribing me medicine. They're going to be monitoring everything. I'm not going to just drop dead of a heart attack or something like that because I'm doing this to myself with no oversight. So yeah, that, those were the main things that my family was concerned about. But
Got it. Yeah, freaking Dr. Google. From now on, everybody go with Dr. Whitmer, not Dr. Google. So, again, man, thank you so much, Brandon, for taking the time out of your day to hang out with me and to, really get your story out there and allow me and us to track your progress and create this time capsule. And thank you, the viewer, for watching today's conversation. But I do want to remind you that this is only the beginning. We're going to be checking back in with Brandon in a couple of months to track the progress and see what life is like and get some real feedback as he progresses with care under Wittmer Rejuvenation Clinic. Now, you don't want to miss any of those updates, so please make sure you hit subscribe. turn on all those bell notifications so you don't miss any updates. And again, thank you so much, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.